And hello and welcome to In Your Corner. John Scholes along with Sivan, Tumarkin, 1833 In Your Corner, and inyourcorner.ca is the website to refer to anytime. We talk about disability and injury law, important stuff that you need to know, especially this time of year. Well, I mean, there's always car accidents going on, but this time of year it can be a little more brutal. So we're going to get to all that. We will also get to the 3 mistakes people make when they are denied long-term disability. Sivan, I know you have some stories to talk about, or at least one, but I want to get into, we'd like to refresh once in a while and tell people why we do the show in the first place, right?
That's right, John. We do this show, we've been doing this now for a while, both on radio and on TV. And what we do is, we are lawyers. I'm a lawyer. I deal with disability claims, long-term disability, injury claims.
Well, I'm not a lawyer.
You're not a lawyer.
You're
not a lawyer.
Come on, seriously?
One of us is enough. We deal with car accidents, slip and falls, injuries. And what we do at my law firm, in addition to what Lior does, the employment lawyers, is we help people who have been cut off long-term disability or have been denied unjustly long-term disability claims. And what we do is we bring the fight to the insurance companies. We empower people. We tell people that there are myths out there that they should be aware of, that they should be aware that insurance companies can get away with murder, can get away with denying unjust claims. And how do we do that? Well, I used to work for insurance companies. Other people at my firm used to work for insurance companies. So we've seen the other side. We understand the tactics and the strategies that they employ. And we now use that knowledge for the benefit of individuals, of people who are suffering. We represent them. We stand between them and the insurance company. We take the fight to the insurance companies, and we make insurance companies pay what they owe.
Again, we loosely call it the week that was, but it's a story or a case that you've been working on in the firm. I know you want to talk about. Yeah,
I want to tell you about an interesting case. So in some instances, when we start legal claims for long-term disability claims, we have an opportunity to discover the adjuster from the insurance company. And so what happened last week, and just for people out there so that they understand, using American lingo, because that's usually we watch American TV, it's a deposition. We get to depose or to discover the adjuster at the insurance company who had cut off our client from their disability.
Gotcha.
And so one of our associates, Albert, who's an exceptionally bright individual, had an opportunity to discover under oath the insurance adjuster. And John, what he did with that person was just phenomenal, and it exemplifies why it is that we do what we do. He had an opportunity to question that adjuster under oath as to why it is that she's done certain things on that claim, why the person that we represent was cut off. Yeah. And he got some interesting admissions. Again, remember, this is under oath. So he's questioning her, and I want to tell you some of the things that she had admitted under oath. She admitted that the insurance company had miscalculated the benefits, the number. In other words, what our client had received was incorrect. It should have been higher. He was able to get her to admit that she, in fact, had no training in interpreting the policy. So when she made the decision to cut off this individual from long-term disability, she admitted she actually had no formal training in interpreting the policy upon which she was relying. You know, another thing that she did is she said that she had reviewed all of the medical documentation, and then she made a decision that our client did not qualify. And so when Albert took her through the medical documents, which she said that she had reviewed, some of those medical documents were handwritten records of doctors. And he's taking her through each record, and of course she can't read the handwriting of the doctor. So she then admits, no, in fact, I did not review all the medical documents. He almost made her cry.
That's a bad
day. The adjuster.
That's a bad day for her.
Right. But here's what this means. It means that now the insurance company is in a very bad position. We are now able to force them to retract, to move back, to have to either reinstate our client, put them back on benefits, or come to the table and pay a negotiated amount. So again, what is the lesson here? The lesson is that when we get a hold of an insurance adjuster in a deposition, when we represent someone who has been unjustly cut off or denied long-term disability, we take the fight literally to the insurance company. And we use all the tools at our disposal to force insurers to pay what they owe.
InYourCorner.ca is a wonderful resource to find out where we do our radio show, In Your Corner, which we've been doing for several years. Also, you can find out our Employment Hour radio show as well with Lior. You mentioned that. And we get a lot of phone calls, not only with employment law, of course, on that show. That's the whole basis of it. But some come through and they have to do with, as you know, there's a lot of crossover between disability and employment. And we'll get a lot of calls that have to do with what you do. So we're going to get to a call now that we got from the Employment Hour, play it back and get you to comment and dissect it.
My brother was in an accident. He has been disabled permanently. He's had some time off, but the long-term disability program that he had with his benefits, it was covering him while they were there. They've cut him off, and now the company has brought him in, and they had a sit down, and they've offered him 17 weeks severance, and they said that they are not going to be hiring him back.
They had a sit down.
They had to sit down, and we hear this quite often,
Yep.
that this scenario of a person who's not only battling the insurance company because the person has been cut off or is going to be cut off disability or denied altogether, and the employer who then decides to fire this individual. And the thing is this, we can help the individual with both issues, and the person needs help with both issues because, John, if that person ends up going to two separate lawyers, one that deals with employment and one with disability at two separate firms, the result may be that the person may end up with less money in their pockets because there is an interplay between what you get as severance and what the insurance company ends up doing and deducting from what they have to pay you. So in the case of the gentleman here who had called us, we can help him with both sides. We can advise him on the severance. And there's another issue here altogether on the employment side, that he is being dismissed while he is disabled, which means that there is a potential human rights element to it.
Right.
And again, that all gets thrown into the mix that we have to deal with. With the insurance company, this person has been in a terrible accident, permanently disabled. We see this day in and day out. Insurance companies are taking the position that individuals are not disabled or that their disability does not amount to total disability under the policy, and therefore they're not eligible to receive benefits. That's a myth. That's a myth. As long as you have doctors who are saying that you're unable to work because of a disability, as long as you have coverage through long-term disability, we can help you.
Is there also not a misconception that if you've been let go, you don't qualify for that disability, but as long as you were disabled whilst still working, you're still covered, right?
Yeah, that's very important to understand, and there are nuances there. But
Right.
a lot of people think that because they've been let go and they did not apply for long-term disability during the time that they were employed, that they are now out of luck. That's not the case. The question is, and we have court cases where judges have said this, that if your disability arose while you were still employed, while you still had coverage with a long-term disability insurance company, you are able to then make an application. But there are strict deadlines, so you want to make sure that you apply as soon as possible. And of course, if you get denied for any reasons, you immediately call us. We charge nothing. It'll cost you nothing to speak with us, to get the advice you need and understand what your rights are.
It's all good stuff still to come here. We'll get to the 3 mistakes people make when they are denied long-term disability. That and much, much more. 1-833 in your corner or inyourcorner.ca, as you see on the screen all the time. Call it, use it, remember it. Lots more In Your Corner is on the way. Stick around.
You lost your job. They only gave you 2 weeks of severance per year worked. But where can you find out what you're really owed?
I'm going to severancepaycalculator.com.
Find out how much you're owed right now. severancepaycalculator.com.
You've been denied long-term disability. You think you're powerless, but you have a lot more power than you think. I'll tell you a secret. It's a numbers game for the insurance company. They're betting on you walking away from money that they owe you. Don't make that mistake. We resolve disability claims all the time. We force insurers to pay what they owe. We're in your corner.
Call Sivan and his team. 1-833 in your corner or go to inyourcorner.ca. You were being harassed, and when you said something about it, you're the one who lost your job. Now what are you going to do?
I'm going to employmentlawyer.ca.
Always check with the employment lawyer first at employmentlawyer.ca. InYourCorner.ca is the website. Welcome back to the show. 1-833 In Your Corner, or simply help@InYourCorner.ca to fire an email over anytime, whether we're on the air or otherwise. I know you got a team ready to answer those. As mentioned before, we took a short break there. The top 3 mistakes people make when they are denied long-term disability. I'm surprised you whittled this down to 3.
Well, there's a lot more, obviously.
We'll get to the first one, get right into it. Number 1 is they give up and accept the insurance company's decision. Right out.
John, you know how many times I've heard people who have watched the show or have relatives or friends who have watched the show and told them to call me, who tell me, had I known this information 5 years ago, I would have contacted you. And then when I look at their situation, I'm telling them, unfortunately, you would have been entitled to $10,000, $100,000, $500,000. Here's the reality. Insurance companies are in the business of making money. One of the ways they make money is they'll deny your claim across the board, not just you, let's say 100 people. And they will hope that out of those 100 people, 90 people will simply walk away from their rights. And the other 10, they'll deal with them. But imagine how much money they're saving for themselves, making essentially on your back by not paying those 90 people. So, first thing that I put on the list, which is really important, if you are denied or cut off long-term disability, do not walk away before consulting with us, before sending us the information. What do I need to see? I need to see the denial letter or email. I need to see your policy. And I need to have a chat with you. I need to understand what your doctors have said about your disability. It's a very simple analysis for us. So do not walk away. That's the number one thing that insurance companies are hoping you will do.
Right.
They're hoping you'll walk away from your rights. They're hoping you walk away from the money that they owe you. Don't make that mistake.
It's a natural mistake, though. People
Natural.
think, hey, it's a big insurance company. They know best. I guess I don't qualify.
David and Goliath, right?
Exactly.
But who won that fight?
Exactly.
David and Goliath. Don't think you have no power. You have a lot more power. It's just a myth that insurance companies want you to believe that you have no recourse. You do have recourse.
James not here today. He's busy working on a case. He usually joins us on the show. He loves this one too. Number 2 on the list is the appeal, the denial through the insurance company. They get denied, they appeal it, and they appeal it again. Then they appeal it again.
Every denial I have seen, whether it's in a letter that comes to your house by mail or an email, there's going to be a paragraph somewhere towards the bottom that says you have X amount of time to appeal the decision.
Right.
Provide more documents. Give us this, give us that. What is an appeal? This appeal is not a legal process. It's essentially the insurance company saying, come back to us at some point later, within 30 days or 60 or whatever it is, and then we'll review
say
your
no
case.
again.
Yeah, but the thing is this, people need to understand, this appeal has no teeth.
Right.
You have no leverage over the insurance company. You're appealing to the same people who cut you off in the first place. And so what happens, as you mentioned, is they'll deny you again. And then they'll say, okay, for a second time, you can appeal again. You do that. And at some point, a year has passed, a year and a half has passed, maybe 2 years have passed. Maybe you're beyond now the limitation period for actually taking real legal action against them. Do not waste your time with these appeals. These appeals, for the most part, I can tell you in my experience, are useless. Because you're appealing, you're re-asking the same people who cut you off or denied you to reconsider the decision. There's a much better way of challenging them, and that's through the legal process. That's what we do, and we resolve claims in a fraction of the time as some of those appeals that I have seen go absolutely nowhere.
Again, 1-833 in your corner and inyourcorner.ca. Talk about the top 3 mistakes people make when they are denied their LTD. And the last one is they seek advice from the wrong people. I mean, you and I work out. We both go to the gym. How many people have told you how to do things in the gym? They have no clue. This is no different. People think they know, and you get bad advice, right?
Yeah, it's after you said the whole gym thing, since, I'm a gym rat and I like the gym, and you're right, you're absolutely right. Just like in anything in life, you're not going to go to your neighbor who's a mechanic and ask him for dental advice. Yeah. You're just not going to do that. Same thing here. Lawyers have specialties. You're not going to go to a real estate lawyer who has no experience in long-term disability. And John, since we started the show, I've gotten more and more people contacting me, telling me they've gone to a lawyer who says that he or she does long-term disability claims. Yeah. And that person wants a retainer, they want money up front, and they'll tell them they'll do an appeal for them, and the appeal goes absolutely nowhere. And at that point, I think last show we even spoke about a gentleman that contacted us and said that they had to pay $9,000 to this lawyer for an appeal that went nowhere. No. When we handle a long-term disability claim, when we tell someone you have a case, you are paying nothing until we get a check from the insurance company. That's when we get paid a percentage. So we are in the same boat as you are. If we tell you you have a case, we are taking that risk. Sure. We think that we have, a leg to stand on. And so make sure that when you are seeking advice for a long-term disability claim or a car accident claim or a slip and fall, anything to do with injuries or disabilities in the legal context, that you are going to the right people. And of course, John, we're doing the show here. I'm telling you, we are the right people. We are the right people. We've been doing this for years. We've also worked for insurers in the past. We understand this field. It's a specialized field. You have to go to someone who only deals in this area of law, not someone who does corporate law or real estate or immigration. just like you wouldn't go to your dentist to have heart surgery.
That's right. What to do when your insurer forces you back to work early? We will answer that question after a short break. Hang on. 1-833 In Your Corner, and inyourcorner.ca is our website. Lots more In Your Corner is on the way. Stick around.
You lost your job. They said they had a good reason, but you think you've been wrongfully dismissed. Now what are you going to do?
I'm going to employmentlawyer.ca.
Always check with the employment lawyer first at employmentlawyer.ca.
Insurance companies deny long-term disability claims all the time. They give lots of excuses. Don't give up. I've seen it all. They've ignored your doctors, they've ignored you. You're angry and you're frustrated. But there's hope. We resolve disability claims all the time. We force insurers to pay what they owe. We're in your corner.
Call Sivan and his team, 1-833 In Your Corner, or go to inyourcorner.ca. You thought you had a secure job. You didn't see it coming. Now what do?
I'm going to employmentlawyer.ca.
Always check with the employment lawyer first at employmentlawyer.ca.
And welcome back to In Your Corner. The website is inyourcorner.ca. Help at inyourcorner.ca for email, and 1-833 In Your Corner. Very simple to contact Sivan and the rest of his team. Another resource for you is mydisabilityquestions.com. You can go there. There's a drop-down menu. You can ask your question. There's a fairly high probability that your question has been answered in depth, which is really good. If not, leave it there. Sivan or a member of his team, James, someone else will answer the question. You can go back and refer to it in the future. I want to get to a couple of these and some emails as we continue on here with the last half of the show, Sivan. Again, from mydisabilityquestions.com, I'll throw this one at you. My partner has arthritis, depression, and fibromyalgia. After 2 years on LTD, his payments have been cut. The insurer says he can go back to work. His doctors say that isn't possible. Should we have you write to the adjuster on our behalf? It's extremely stressful dealing with this insurance company.
John, it's extremely stressful dealing with any insurance company. Again, because the goal of the insurance company is not to protect you, which is what they tell you initially when they sell you the policy. It's to make money. Now, to answer the question from the person who wrote this, yes, I can write to the insurance company, and I've done that in the past. But here's the thing. I like to walk around with a stick when it comes to insurance companies. Just asking them to do something is not enough. There has to be a threat. And you know what? Sometimes I even just forgo the threat. I just start a legal claim against them. You know why? Because what happens at that moment when I start a legal claim is internally within the insurance company, the claim now moves from these people who you can't talk to other people, to another adjuster and a defense lawyer whose job it is to stop the insurance company from bleeding money in defending the case. Right. They are now interested in coming to the table and talking resolution. Now let's talk about this individual who wrote. He says, after 2 years on long-term disability, the payments have been cut off because the insurance company says that he can go back to work, but the doctors say that he can't. I don't care what the adjuster is saying about this. I don't care that the insurance company thinks this person can go back to work. I am listening to that person's doctors. They're the ones treating him. They're the ones who care for him. They're the ones that if we ended up before a judge, and most of these cases never see a courtroom, insurance companies don't like to take that risk. But if they went before a judge, who do you think a judge would believe? The adjuster, who has no medical training? Someone the insurance company hired, a doctor for hire? Or would the court believe and listen to and be persuaded by the people who are actually treating this individual? You know what? My money is on the court believing the treating doctors. So when an insurance company tells you that you have to go to work and your doctors tell you that you don't have to, in fact, that you can't, listen to your doctors. If you don't, two things can happen. Number one, you could hurt yourself. Mm-hmm. If you're going back to work against medical advice, that's not good. It means that you are doing something against what they are telling you to do, right? And they have your best interest at heart. The second thing that it may do is it may embolden the insurance company to reject your claim later if you find out that, in fact, your doctors are right and you cannot go back and you have to go back on claim, on LTD. So what you do in this instance, when the insurance company tells you we're cutting you off, is you come to us, you call us, you email me. Let us talk to you. It'll cost you nothing, but at least you'll understand what your rights are. Let me address one more thing. This gentleman says that it's only happened after 2 years. So he's been on LTD for 2 years, and now the insurance company wants to cut him off.
Right.
Now, that's very common.
Yep.
Why 2 years? Why are most people on claim for a year, year and a half, and close to the 2-year mark, the insurance company says, we're going to cut you off.
Yep.
Why? Because the test for disability changes at the 2-year mark. To qualify for LTD, for the first 2 years, you have to show that you are disabled from doing your own occupation, your own job. But beyond the 2 years, you have to show that you are disabled from doing any occupation for which you're trained for by education, experience, etc. So it's very, very important to understand that insurance companies will often use that new test to weed out as many claims as they can, when in fact many individuals out there are unable to do any job, sometimes for psychological reasons,
right,
physical reasons, and the doctors are saying this person cannot go back to any job. So again, don't get bullied by the insurance company, don't get stressed by the insurance company, or if you do, give us a call. And by the way, as soon as we get into the picture,
right,
we are the ones dealing with the insurance company. The calls stop, the emails stop, the letters stop. We are the ones corresponding with the insurance company. They're not allowed to, call you, email you, do anything with you. They have to go through us.
You've mentioned that 2-year threshold where it's, training through education and experience. The classic scenario we always use, and we've used for years on the radio show as well, is you get a surgeon who has had some sort of, trauma to his hands. He can no longer do surgery, but maybe in 2 years he can teach afterwards at university, yes, right? Something like that?
That's exactly true, exactly. The insurance company can't ask the surgeon, to go and serve coffee somewhere. Nothing wrong with that, but that's not the test.
Right.
The test is, can that person do something else for which he or she is trained for?
Right.
And again, that's another thing that happens, right? The insurance company will send you to their experts who will then assess you and then come up with a list of unrealistic occupations that they say you can do, even though you cannot do them because you don't have any training or experience in those occupations,
right,
education. And your doctors are saying, again, remember, your doctors play a vital role here. They have to say that you are unable to do any other work for which you are trained for or have education or experience in. As long as you have that, we can hit the insurance company back. Do not let them bully you. Do not let them make you think that you have no options. You have options. It's just that you need to see that and you need to understand that. And as soon as you do and you feel empowered, trust me, the insurance company will come to the table. They're not interested in picking a fight with someone who understands your legal options.
1-833 in your corner, and help@inyourcorner.ca is that email address. We'll get to one from Claire. Claire writes in, Sivan says, how long do people have to start a legal claim when they've been cut off LTD, and does it matter if they've appealed the initial cutoff? Does it change the deadline for starting a legal claim? We've talked about this.
Yeah, we have quite a lot, and really, really important. So here's the thing. In Ontario and British Columbia, you have 2 years,
okay,
2 years on the day, from the day that you were cut off or denied long-term disability to start a claim against the insurance company. A legal claim, not an appeal, okay? Forget about appeals. But here's the thing. If you appeal and then you get denied again, the clock does not restart.
Yeah, so if you appeal that decision, it doesn't go back to 2 years.
It does not.
So it could be a year and a half left, and then a year, and then 6 months.
You got it. And this is what we're saying. We have people coming to us sometimes beyond the 2-year limitation period, and we tell them we can't help them. Nothing we can do. And it's unfortunate because in some of these instances that I have seen, I'm telling you, John, I've seen people who are in the 30s and 40s who have 100%, not 99%, 100% legitimate claims, but they waited too long to start a legal claim. They went through appeal upon appeal after an appeal. And what happened? They missed the 2-year limitation period. They came to me and I told them, I can't do anything for you. And by the way, the really bad news, that was bad news. The really bad news, your claim is probably worth anywhere from $400,000 to $600,000.
Right.
And that's money that your family now doesn't have. That's money that the insurance company is now keeping.
They do this it's a technique.
Well, of course it's a technique, but it's brilliant. Think about it. I'm not advocating for it, but I'm saying insurance companies understand the logic here. They understand the psychology. And even more so, and this is what really makes me angry, is that they are taking advantage of vulnerable individuals. People who are dealing with stresses, people who are dealing with ailments, with illnesses. Sometimes they have people caring for them. They don't have the ability to fight back. And this is why we're doing this show, because we want to tell people we are going to fight for you. You don't have to deal with that. We just need the information, and then we are going to be in your corner, as is the name of the show,
yep,
and we're going to hit back. and we're going to take the fight to the insurance company, and that's when the insurance company will come to the table and they will take out their wallet.
Another place for you to go, as mentioned before, mydisabilityquestions.com. I think we got time for another one of these. Next one up says, I was just let go from my job. I still haven't signed the severance papers. I'm currently on LTD, but that is coming to an end in 3 months because I've reached the 2-year mark. I'm just trying to understand what my options are now that I have no job and I'm being cut off disability. So that's not a good feeling.
No, it's not. And again, people who are cut off or have issues with disability insurance companies, they also have issues with work. And here's the thing that this person has done really well. This person knows that he's going to be cut off in a few months. So he's not waiting until he's cut off like a lot of people. He's being proactive. And we can actually take action against the insurance company before the cutoff date. So that's important. And we've had instances where, because people have come to us well in advance of being cut off, we've resolved the claim with the insurance company before their payments were even cut off, so that there was no gap in terms of the payments that they were receiving, right? Because, we all have mortgages, we perhaps have children that we have to pay for education or activities or food. Now, this is important to understand as well, both in British Columbia, in Vancouver, as well as in Ontario, and I'm talking about throughout Ontario and BC, not just in Toronto or Ottawa or wherever. Throughout these provinces, we are helping people with both employment matters as well as disability matters and injury claims. So we can help you. You don't have to drive and see us. We do this by phone. We do this via email. You can come and see us if you want, but you don't have to. Just like this person here, we will help this person both on the employment side and the disability side. And by the way, sometimes there are other issues we can help with. Again, I want to tell people they need to understand it's not that we do one or the other. We have lawyers who really focus their areas of expertise in these areas of practice.
Want to slide in one more email quick as the clock is ticking down here. Sunny writes in to helpitinyourcorner.ca. Sunny says, I'm on LTD and was told by my insurance adjuster that if I don't get CPP disability, they're going to cut me off. Can they do that?
So first of all, yes, they can. Should they? No. What is CPP disability? That's essentially the pension plan, but it's if you are disabled, then you can apply to get CPP disability. The test for that is that you have to show that your illness or disability is severe and prolonged. And why do insurance companies, long-term disability insurance companies, why are they interested in that? Because if you get it, then they get a credit for that.
Makes sense.
So let's say the LTD insurance company pays you $2,000 a month and you get $1,000 for CPP. You're not getting $1,000 plus $2,000, you're getting $2,000 together. Here's the thing though, if the insurance company cuts you off because you haven't applied for CPP disability, we can fight that. We can fight that. What insurance companies often do is they don't cut you off. They'll simply say that they'll estimate how much you're supposed to be getting, and then they'll reduce your amount accordingly. And on the next show, when we have more time, we can talk about the benefits of applying for CPP disability. But suffice it to say that if the insurance company cuts you off long-term disability for any reason, you should be contacting us immediately. Email, phone, knock on the door, whatever it is. Let us help you. Let us tell you what your legal options are.
Final thoughts for the day. What do you think?
I think that it would be much better if people out there, understood that they have more power than they think they do. Because I think there's just so many people out there who feel like they're either insignificant or they don't have the power to do anything. And there are people who are listening and seeing the show, and it doesn't apply to them. They're not disabled, but perhaps they have a friend, perhaps they know someone, a relative, someone that can benefit from this information. And the other thing I want to mention is this, and I'm going to talk directly to the audience. Yes, we are lawyers. Yes, it's in our interest to have people call us. But there's a reason why we are saying this. And there's a reason why, if you were to go on our webpage and go on our, look at our Google reviews, you'll see countless people who have had the experiences with our lawyers. Right. The service we provide, we do it. There's a business element there, but we're doing the show as opposed to just doing commercials because we want people to understand this information. That's what empowers them. Insurance companies are interested in ignorance across the board. We are countering that. So any person out there who is listening and taking this information in, that's one step closer to leveling the playing field.
Good for another day. Thank you for joining us. Join us next time as well. It's 1-833 in your corner or inyourcorner.ca.